Hello guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about should you pull for Tuesday or not. In today's day and age, we are moving towards a more team-oriented pulling strategy rather than one by one or getting the powerful character and moving on to the next powerful character. We are moving into a different meta, which is team-wise. Some people don't like it, like a team-oriented, roster-oriented meta. People don't like it, but I have been saying for a year, basically every time that I pull or every time I rationalize and I tell you guys why I pull for, it's the roster. The roster is extremely important and lets you tackle every situation. And once you have built a powerful roster, then you can pull for a character that maybe you like that is not that good. In my case, in global, I pulled for Jay that I didn't have to pull. But I wanted to pull it for because I never had him, and I think his mechanic is cool. So that thing exists as well after you get your roster in check. Now, we will be roster checked, roster gated, account gated on the new mode that CN already has, which is the deep dive thing. I've forgotten the name, when you go down deep in the ocean and you fight powerful encounters that are really, really strong. So it's going to incentivize merging teams together and making like weird cooking team. You need to cook to make like a crazy team, and just for that encounter specifically, you're gonna see the craziest combos just because you're trying to, like, okay, so this character for this part of the fight, this character for that reason, this one because she's doing a lot of damage and a lot of healing, so like that one, but also need poison, so maybe I should get soda, like you need to like cook more. But that's only possible if you have a good roster. How do you have a good roster? By pulling characters that are very useful, core characters, or extremely powerful characters that are also very viable, like Lucy or Anjonala. Now, in this case, we are talking about should you pull Lucy. I feel like, and should you pull Lucy? Yes, but should you pull Tuesday? If you are interested in a core character that enables you to play Poison, which is all about Genesis damage, because Poison is Genesis damage explosions, right? In that case, yes. If you are a free-to-play player pulling for Poison, you are now locked in, which means that you're not going to pull too many random characters along the line between Tuesday and Willow, which is the enabler, which is the user of poison, and Tuesday is the enabler of poison. It's like an engine that goes inside a car. Willow is the car and Tuesday is the engine. So if you need to have the engine to go very fast with the car, or maybe like the oil of the engine, like I don't know, you need like very powerful performance to be going fast with the car. So Willow is the car and Tuesday is the enabler that makes the car go very, 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 very fast. So you are now locked into, if you pull Tuesday, you are now locked into picking up Willow. If you don't do that, you're gonna have a half-assed poison comp that is not going to do anything and is going to end up being a wasted character. Sure, you can do some scuffed Timu version of poison with Jessica, Tuesdays, Sotheby, or whoever the fuck, but that's not the intended one. It is not going to perform well when we are getting into the CN endgame on January or February. I think it was 2.3 when it came out after Anjonala. I don't remember actually. It could be January, it could be February. Depends if it's 2.2 or 2.3. The endgame is going to be very, very intense, and I am predicting that we are going to have specific metas and specific ways of clearing it that are very, very different from mains bulletin. It might have its own tier list, might have its own meta. So the roster is very important. And if you're going to this way, you are pulling Tuesday and Willow, it means you are skipping some characters if you are free to play or cannot afford them, right? So Argus, skip. My queen, Anjonala, you pull her, right? Because Anjonala is an extremely powerful character that works everywhere. And you can connect her to anybody, and she's going to get extra attacks, help with DPS, destroy the enemy, and if you need, like, it's a limited character, you should be pulling that regardless of your roster or who you have or what you like. You should just be pulling blindly at least one copy of every limited character just to be good with it, right? Because you're going to need their help. And after that. L'Opera, sadly, you might have to skip if you don't have enough pulls, if you get blasted on Anjonala. If you don't get lucky on Anjonala, there's no way you're able to get L'Opera. So let's assume you don't get L'Opera, we move on, and then you pull for Willow. Flutter Page, at that point, it depends what else you want to do after that, because the poison comp is done after Willow. We're not gonna see any poison extra after Willow anytime soon. So you're gonna have to think about it. What else do I want to make now, right? So that is the core team. Now, if you are interested in that, in building that, in playing that team, then you pull. Otherwise, should you pull? No, because Argus is there. It's a very powerful extra attack helper, debuffer, raid-oriented unit. Then we have Anjonala, which is a limited, very extremely powerful extra attack-oriented unit that can also make a contract, a buff, depending on the Afflatus that you made the contract with. And then you have L'Opera, which is a super future unit that uses bullets. We still don't have a 6-star new character that comes that does bullets, besides Lilia, but Lilia is it's like a buff version of it. And probably everybody's going to use Lilia Euphoria on the extra attack version, because she has two styles. They're probably going to use the extra attack. They're not going to do the bullet. So, technically we have one, but we don't have one. So, in my opinion, that it's new. We need a hyper character that does bullets. Maybe the new limited that's going to do that. Nobody knows. But L'Opera is certainly a character that if you can, you shouldn't skip. In case you don't care about poison, right? We're doing the other side, the other side. So you get Anjonala, you get L'Opera. Arcus, if you want to get her, you get her. Otherwise, you don't. And after that, there's Flutter Page, which is extra attack, and then we don't know. Who knows, right? And then after that patch 2.4, the next patch after is going to be limited. I think every 3 patches, right? So 2.5 is going to be the limited character. So be very careful on what you're doing. With this character. The poison team ends with Willow, so get these 2 characters, and then every leftover, besides Anjonala, you cannot try to get other characters. But should you pull Tuesday? Yes, if you want poison. No, if you don't want poison. Very, very simple. But do you want poison? Poison is extremely powerful, but it takes a little bit of time to cook. You need to have the array up. You need to put as many stacks of poison on the enemy as possible. So you want a lot of characters that do a lot of debuffs, like Isolde, for example. Maybe you move Sotheby away. If you don't want to use a Sotheby, use all the characters. Now you're using Willow. You want to debuff the enemy so they take more Genesis damage. Then you do the array at when you have the highest amount of poison stacks. Then if you Sotheby, you can do the ultimate and do a little bit of damage. If you're using Willow, you are also doing Willow's ultimate. You're doing a lot of poison triggers, poison explosions. The array is gonna go off. It's gonna falling off is gonna trigger the poison again. There's gonna be a lot of explosions of Genesis. Now, if you happen to get copies of these characters, that increases by a lot. For example, P2 Willow, or even I think P1 and P2 Tuesday is also pretty good if you're a spender, right? So this also is Genesis damage, so it's going to bypass every resistance. So all of these characters that you felt like a wall before, they're not gonna feel like a wall. But you're not gonna clear in 2 rounds. You're gonna clear like in 6, 7, 8 maybe. If it's a big boss, if it's a big monster. Raids obviously is gonna take a while for you to cook. It's basically like Winsong's card stacking. You just get stacking. Takes a little bit to cook. Once it's cooking, you start seeing the chunks, like minus 45k, minus 50k, minus 30k Genesis damage, right? So, it is really interesting and fun in my opinion, because I always like dot in every damage over time in every game. So I always try to make a dot team, and poison is the dot like burn, right? But burn I don't like it because it halves the stacks every time. So that is it. Let me know what you think. Are you going to pull for Tuesday or not? What are your plans? What are you going for? Let me know in the comments. For now, thank you for watching, and see you next time.